Hello again, class. This is Mel Brown, just tuning in for the weekly announcement, and also at the same time giving the on class or the in class presentation to the online class. This is just a few slides today. I'm just going to be with you just briefly. I'm going to be giving some announcements for the class and also highlighting some things that you guys should be taking from the book. First of all, announcements. Um, Actually, this week was the last day to add courses. Actually, it was on Monday. So if you folks need to add courses, there's a process that you folks need to go through. You need to actually download a late enrollment fee, as I'm actually pointing on the screen here. It's a late enrollment form pre-census. So you want to go to Forms SJSU. You can type that in into any browser and click, and the first link you'll see is our forms link here at SJSU, and then what you'll do is you'll try to look for the late enrollment form pre-census. Follow the instructions. There is a $45 fee for it. If you folks wait until the 19th of next week, there's another form that you folks have to download. It's called the late enrollment form post-census, and it's a $200 fee. Um, okay. All right, so just a brief overview of last week here, as you see on the slide here. First of all, you want to know your resources. Chapter 1 last week was basically focusing on understanding higher education, knowing where you are in terms of the college, understanding resources. So last week I went over the access site and your degree progress report. Definitely be aware of that. Also in the chapter 1, we talked about, and actually it's highlighted in the book, about managing your money. Take a close look at managing your money, the big picture, decreasing money flow. Also, there were 8 expectations of instructors. And what is the definition of success according to chapter 1? So please pay attention to those things for the first chapter. All right, so going into this week, accepting personal responsibility was for chapter 2. So on the screen here, I'm just highlighting some of the things that I experienced during my first year of school. At the end of my first year, and again, I'm highlighting some of my personal experiences and actually connecting it to the book. So at the end of my second year, as you can see here, I had a 1.75 grade point average in that semester. I did a lot of negative things. As you can see here, I went on a drinking and smoking marijuana spree. Um, it wasn't after several events, and again, I'll explain these later as the semesters go along, that I came to the conclusion that I had to take personal responsibility. So eventually, I had to place in my mindset, at that time in my mindset, I wasn't at the right place. So essentially, what I did was I pasted my transcripts on the mirror as just a daily reminder of what I had to do in terms of my goals. So that's just an example of me accepting my personal responsibility, and I'll connect to some of the things that you read about in chapter 1. Victim and creator mindset. The definition of a mindset is a collection of beliefs and attitudes. So in the book, also they highlight creator mindset as well as victim mindset. The creator mindset causes people to see multiple options for success. The victim mindset distracts people from seeing and acting on choices that could help them. And again, in class, and actually as you go along in the semester and actually read the chapter, what are some of the things that can cause people to have a victim mindset? As you can go back and see from my example, um, in my situation, my excuse was an escape. That semester, I used some negative things, such as drinking and smoking marijuana, as being placed in a victim mindset. I used that as an excuse, as an escape. In the book, there was a model. I believe it was in the middle of chapter 2 that um, Skip Downing talks about the different models of decision makings for victim mindset as well as creator mindset. And I have up here on the screen the series of events for victim mindset in terms of them making a decision. There is a stimulus and then a response, and then a victim mindset goes about blaming their situations on everyone else. They tend to complain, excusing a lot of things, repeat behavior, and seldom achieves goals. In the creator mindset, you have a stimulus and a certain response to a situation. They seek out solutions, they take actions, they try something new, and they often achieve goals. Okay, so some of the other things that were highlighted in chapter one was the inner critic, inner defender, and inner guide. The inner critic is everyone's internal voice that judges us as inadequate. The inner defender rather judges others. The defender accepts too little responsibility. The inner guide seeks to make the best of any situation. So, the key here is to attain the inner guide. I mean, in certain situations, you're going to have the inner critic. In certain situations, you're going to have the inner defender. Um, but the goal, in terms of any type of situation, is to seek and make best of any situations. And also, you may want to think about, in terms of reading the chapter after going back and just going over the terms, can the critic and defender be positives? Think about those situations where your inner critic and defender could actually be of help to you. Okay, and in the latter part of chapter 2, Downing goes over the wise choice process here, and I've actually presented six um, wise choice processes that he actually goes over and does a good job of explaining. What's my present situation? Well, right now, your present situation that you're on probation. How would I like my situation to be? Well, right now, in terms of your situation and wanting to be out of probation, obviously you would want to be off of probation. Now, what are my possible choices? Well, you can either do things that are against you in terms of making progress, not managing your time, or doing things that are not connected to your academics this semester, or you can actually make those choices, such as managing your time and meeting with your peer advisor and using those resources. Number four, what are my likely outcomes of each possible choice? Well, if you don't do what you need to do this semester, the obvious outcome is that you're going to be disqualified. But if you do make those positive choices, if you do actually do what you're supposed to do, then your outcomes will more than likely be positive. What choices will I commit to doing? Well, first and foremost, you have to have a commitment to improving. One of the biggest steps is actually being in the class. So, you being in the class is definitely one of those choices that you are doing to commit to actually doing well. And when and how will I evaluate my plan? Well, when you get off of probation, I mean, is that necessarily it? Actually, no. When you're off of probation, your next step should be graduating. Well, when you get a degree and graduate, is that it? Well, no, no. It's actually getting steps to actually get a job. Now, after you get a job, what then? So my point is that each time you attain a goal, you have to evaluate your plan to see how you can make adjustments, and also at the same time, what is that next step? What is that next goal? Okay. So those are some of the highlights of Chapter 2 that you should be going over. Stay tuned for the next video announcement for next week. And again, these video announcements are for announcement purposes, but also to highlight some things that you should be going over in the chapter. Okay. All right. So thank you. And